Lior Hayat, thank you for joining us on I-24 News. Amnesty International accuses Israel of perpetrating the international wrong of apartheid as a human rights violation and a violation of public international law. Your response?
First of all, shalom from Jerusalem. Thank you for having me. Well, my response is very easy. I think that we reject those accusations. We think that this report is a sham and that it's basically, and we don't say it easily, it's anti-Semite. And when I say anti-Semite, I don't just throw a word out there. This report is using double standard and demonization in order to delegitimize the existence of the State of Israel. And those three D words are the components of the modern anti-Semitism. And unfortunately, we see Amnesty, that used to be a very honest organization, lost its way and joins anti-Israeli organizations and terror organizations in accusing Israel of being an apartheid state. Now, Lior, someone looks at Israel and says, this is an apartheid state, is either blind or a liar. And we don't think Amnesty are blind.
Right. Lior, there's another almost separate accusation here kind of relating to what you just said. In the report, it says Israel has subjected Israeli organizations denouncing apartheid and other serious human rights violations against Palestinians to smears and a delegitimization campaign. So they're kind of almost anticipating that criticism. Your response to that?
Yeah, apparently they knew what our response will be, because when they write such a report, it's very easy to understand that they crossed the line. They crossed the line from criticizing a policy of the State of Israel and criticizing the existence and delegitimizing the existence of the Jewish state, of the homeland of the Jewish people. And this is the issue. They looked at the situation and the history of the Middle East and the State of Israel, and they cherry-picked the information that they want in order to create a few points, and then they said, we call it apartheid. It's baseless, it's a lie, and unfortunately, we have to say it out loud, it's also anti-Semitic. And it puts in danger not only the existence of the State of Israel, but it puts in danger the Jews all over the world that could be subjective to violence because of the language that is being used by Amnesty International in this report. And I have to say that if you've asked me about 15 years ago, I would have been surprised, but Amnesty has changed a lot. Amnesty International lost its way. We see that the Secretary General 8 years ago said that accused Israel baseless of assassinating Yasser Arafat. It took them 7 years in order to say that they don't accuse Israel anymore. And Amnesty International UK is known in the last few months to be a racist and xenophobic organization. Even employees from the office in London accuses this organization of being racist and xenophobic. So you just have to add anti-Semite to this accusation.
Let me ask you, Lior, because the Foreign Ministry has reacted very vigorously to this report, and timely, and we've heard the comments from the Foreign Minister himself. But obviously, this is an ongoing, let's say, campaign or issue that the ministry has to deal with. Talk a little about that moving ahead.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's a campaign. And what we're trying to say is, look at Israel. Look at what Israel represents. Look at the Israeli society. And especially look at the photo of the current Israeli government. One photo, they said that one photo is worth more than 1,000 words. And actually one photo, the photo of the Israeli government, is worth more than 200 pages of false report. Because in this photo of the Israeli government, you'll see Arabs and Jews, men and women, seculars and religious, immigrants from Europe and Ethiopia, and people who were born in Israel. You'll see people with disabilities and LGBTQ representative. This is the face of the Israeli society. This is as inclusive as you can get. And as I said before, if you look at that photo and the word that comes to your head is apartheid, you have a problem. And this problem has a name. Right. And the name is anti-Semitism.
All right. Lior Hayat, spokesperson for the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, thank you for joining us on I-24 News.
Thank you. Thank you.